I almost lost my job as the chief of staff last year because of Desmond Elliott.
Wow.
You are alive today, you can go and verify with them. It's the president called me to his study in his house in Abuja during the Obasa saga, impeachment saga. I hear this Desmond is your boy, the one we gave to you. I said, yes, sir. He here is part of the people that are causing problems in Lagos in state assembly. I hadn't spoken to Desmond. Immediately I said to Mr. President, no. Desmond is not part of them. I hadn't even spoken to Desmond. I didn't know whether he was part of them. I said, no, he's not part of them. Well, I'm telling you from intelligence that he's part of them. Go and tell him to retrace his steps. This is what Mr. President told me.
In Nigerian politics, there is an unwritten rule that everyone in the game understands. You can survive a fight with your constituents, you can survive a fight with your opponent, but you cannot survive a fight with your godfather. And in Lagos APC politics, there is no godfather more powerful than President Bola Tinubu. Desmond Elliott, the celebrated Nollywood actor turned politician who has represented Surulere Constituency 1 in the Lagos State House of Assembly since 2015, is currently fighting the most dangerous political battle of his life. Not against a rival party, not even against an ambitious opponent within Surulere. He is fighting against something far more lethal in the Lagos political ecosystem: the cooling of trust between himself and the very powers that put him there. On May 14, 2026, Chief Femi Gbajabiamila, Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu and the undisputed APC godfather of Surulere, stood before APC members and openly declared that he almost lost his job at the presidency because of Desmond Elliott. He described in detail how President Tinubu himself summoned him to his Abuja residence during the Obasa impeachment saga and questioned him directly about whether Desmond was involved in destabilizing the Lagos House of Assembly against the president's wishes. That public statement, made by a sitting chief of staff at the highest level of Nigerian government, is not a minor political footnote. It is a political earthquake, and its aftershocks are going to be felt most violently in one place: Desmond Elliott's 2027 re-election bid. Today, we are breaking down 5 reasons why that revelation signals the possible end of Desmond Elliott's career in the Lagos State House of Assembly and potentially the beginning of the end of his political life altogether. To understand why losing presidential confidence is a career-ending event in Lagos politics, you first need to understand how Lagos APC actually works. Lagos is not a conventional democracy in the traditional sense. It is, by design and by history, a structured political empire, built by Bola Tinubu from his days as governor between 1999 and 2007, and maintained with extraordinary discipline ever since. Every elected official in Lagos, from local councillors to state assembly members to senators, owes their ticket and therefore their seat to the approval of the Lagos APC structure, and at the top of that structure sits Tinubu. The Obasa impeachment saga of January 2025 was the most serious internal rebellion against Tinubu's Lagos authority in recent political memory. On January 13, 2025, while Speaker Mudashiru Obasa was returning from the United States, 32 out of 40 members of the Lagos House of Assembly voted to remove him, replacing him with Deputy Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, who became the chamber's first female speaker. The move was celebrated by its architects as a democratic correction, but Tinubu saw it as an unauthorized mutiny against his direct authority because Obasa was his man, his appointee, and his choice to lead that assembly. When Gbajabiamila disclosed that the president called him specifically to ask whether Desmond was involved and then told him directly that intelligence reports placed Desmond among the plotters, that was not casual presidential gossip. That was Tinubu telling his chief of staff that a man they had elevated together had potentially bitten the hand that fed him, and the president's intelligence obtained through the DSS backed that assessment. In Lagos politics, once the president marks you as a problem, no primary process, no grassroots support, and no Nollywood fan base can save your political future. The machinery that gave you power simply runs in reverse, and it runs efficiently. Desmond Elliott has since publicly apologized to Gbajabiamila, reportedly saying, "If I have erred in any way, my leader, I am sorry." But in politics, an apology issued after your godfather has already disclosed your betrayal publicly is not reconciliation. It is damage control. And damage control rarely saves a Lagos APC career that attracted presidential scrutiny. Desmond Elliott did not come to Surulere politics organically. He was not a ward-level activist who climbed the ranks. He was a Nollywood celebrity who was handed the APC ticket in 2015 precisely because Gbajabiamila, then representing Surulere Federal Constituency and the dominant political force in the area, chose him. The constituency was essentially offered to Desmond as a gift. A stakeholder group in Surulere has since confirmed this bluntly. In 2015, Alhaji Kabir Lawal was denied the APC ticket for Surulere Constituency 1, and Elliott, a Nollywood actor, was instead fielded despite lacking political history in the area. That gift, once withdrawn, leaves Desmond with far less than he came with. Gbajabiamila's public statement on May 14, 2026 was not made in private, not leaked by a journalist, not speculated upon by political observers. It was made directly to APC members, Desmond's own party members, in the very political environment where the 2027 primary will be decided. By choosing to air that story publicly, Gbajabiamila did something very deliberate. He informed every APC delegate in Lagos exactly how the president feels about Desmond and exactly where his own loyalty lies on the matter. And the timing matters. The APC primary for Surulere Constituency 1 is scheduled for May 21, 2026, 1 week after Gbajabiamila made those comments. He spoke days before the primary was set to hold. Whether intentional or not, the political message to delegates was deafening. Your godfather is no longer sponsoring this man. A serious rival has already emerged. Barakat Odunuga Bakari, a former special advisor on housing to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has resigned her government appointment to contest directly against Elliott. She has been photographed presenting her nomination forms directly to Gbajabiamila himself. In Lagos politics, where you take your forms and who you take them to tells you everything about who has the structure's backing. Desmond Elliott is trying to win a primary in a system that runs on godfather approval, and his godfather just told the room he almost lost his job because of him. If the president's cooling and the godfather's withdrawal weren't enough, Desmond Elliott must now navigate a Lagos political landscape in which Obasa, the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly, whom he allegedly helped to impeach, is fully restored to power and is more entrenched than ever. The story of Obasa's impeachment and return is one of the most dramatic chapters in recent Lagos legislative history. He was removed on January 13, 2025 by 32 out of 40 members of the Lagos House of Assembly while he was out of the country. His replacement, Mudashiru Obasa, lasted just 49 days, one of the shortest speakerships in any Nigerian legislative history. Then, in a stunning reversal on March 3, 2025, Miranda resigned. Obasa was unanimously renominated and sworn back in, and every decision made after his removal was wiped off the books. The Lagos High Court subsequently declared the original impeachment unconstitutional, null and void on April 16, 2025, a ruling that gave Obasa not just his seat back, but full legal vindication. During the emotional moment when Miranda announced her resignation before the chamber, Desmond Elliott was reportedly in tears. Some saw that as genuine sentiment for a colleague, others read it as the dawning realization that the side he had allegedly chosen had just collapsed entirely. Obasa returned not just physically, but with the full backing of Tinubu's machinery, a fact that was never in doubt. He did not return weakened. He returned as a man who had been tested, vindicated by the courts, and restored by the president's own intervention. And as the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly, Obasa holds enormous power over the daily political lives of every member in that chamber, including who gets committee assignments, who gets elevated, who gets frozen out, and who gets quietly marked for political termination at the next primary cycle.
a man who sued the entire House of Assembly for 1 billion naira in damages over the trauma of his impeachment, a man whose official residence was reportedly stormed by security operatives during the crisis. That is not a man with a short memory.
Beyond the internal party drama, there is a ground-level political reality that Desmond Elliott's team cannot afford to ignore. A growing, vocal and organized section of Surulere has decided, independent of any godfather, that 12 years is enough. The Surulere Accountability Front, a coalition of Surulere stakeholders, released a statement in April 2026 describing Elliott's 11-plus years in office as, in their words, a wasted opportunity marked by underperformance, detachment from grassroots realities, character deficiency, and over-reliance on the record of others. They were explicit about the origins of his political career. The constituency was handed over to someone who was never part of our political structure and has consistently failed to justify the confidence reposed in him. Residents from communities including Bankolemo, Olawale Dawood, Iponri, and Masha have been identified as part of the opposition to Elliott's return. The group warned Gbajabiamila directly. Surulere has paid the price for that decision for 11 years. We cannot afford a fourth-term experiment in failure. There is an important political nuance here. Even where Desmond Elliott has genuine supporters, and he does, as evidenced by the ward tours and the rallies of residents marching in his favor, the momentum and the political direction of the machinery are moving against him. Grassroots support without party machinery in Lagos APC politics is like a car with a full tank but no engine. It looks capable, it cannot move. And critically, the rival who has been presented as the alternative, Barakat Odunuga-Bakare, is not a peripheral figure. She's a Lagos government insider who served directly under Sanwo-Olu's administration, who has existing relationships with the Lagos APC structure, and who has taken her forms directly to the man who controls the Surulere political machinery. The battle between Elliott and Odunuga-Bakare is not just a primary contest, it is a proxy war, and the weapons being deployed are not campaign posters, they are political relationships built over decades. Elliott's own public comment that experience cannot be bought may be true in a lecture hall. In Lagos APC politics, experience without structure cannot even buy you a primary ticket. Of all the things that can be said about Desmond Elliott's political crisis, the most damaging may be the one that Gbajabiamila himself highlighted directly, the statement that was never made. When the Obasa impeachment saga broke and Desmond Elliott's name was being mentioned, including by the DSS Director General, who reportedly called Gbajabiamila personally to say his name was circulating in the connection with the plot, Gbajabiamila did the one thing a godfather could do. He called him, informed him of the gravity of the situation, and made a specific direct request: make a public statement denying involvement. Desmond Elliott never made that statement. Not when he could have saved the situation, not during the weeks the saga played out publicly, not when his godfather's job was reportedly on the line because of him, and not by Gbajabiamila's own account on May 14, 2026, to this day. In political terms, that silence is not simply a tactical failure, it is a statement. When a man who owes his entire political existence to a patron refuses to make a public declaration of loyalty at the precise moment his patron needs it most, the message, intentional or not, is received. The relationship of trust has been broken. And in Lagos political ecosystem, that kind of broken trust does not get quietly repaired over a handshake and a private apology. It becomes the story that is told at APC meetings. It becomes the calculation every party delegate makes when they step into that primary booth. It becomes the reason a chief of staff addresses a room of party members and publicly declares that a man almost cost him his job. It becomes the reason a rival feels emboldened to resign from government and pick up nomination forms with no fear of being warned off. The silence was the loudest political statement Desmond Elliott ever made, and it may be the one that ends his legislative career.